Good Sunday morning, Northeast Ohio, on this 18th day of August. It was 1 month ago today, July 18th, that Governor Mike DeWine signed his new 2-year budget. Included in it was a $40 million motion picture tax credit, a budget fixture since 2009. This year, however, the legislature decided at one point to pull it, cut it to zero. That game of tax credit chicken, we learned this week, has cost the state and Cleveland the Russo brothers' next film. Since 2009, Ohio has seen a steady stream of films shot in the state, many notably in Cleveland. That was threatened this spring when the House cut the entire $40 million in tax credits from the budget used to bring those films here. The argument was that's money that could be used elsewhere. Those in the industry argued that's bad math.
For every dollar spent on the program, $2.01 goes back into the economy.
In the end, the legislature put the money back in the budget, but
that's caused a bit of panic and uncertainty in terms of how people can plan production. So unfortunately, I think it's hurt production a little bit briefly here.
Filmmaker Anthony Russo would know the Northeast Ohio native is back in town to say thank you to fans ahead of the Blu-ray release of Avengers Endgame. The next project, though, for the Russo brothers is a movie based on Clevelander Nico Walker's book, Cherry, which they had reportedly hoped to shoot in Cleveland.
We're going to shoot it this fall, unfortunately not here in Cleveland because of the issue with the tax incentive.
It's something the Greater Cleveland Film Commission warned the legislature in May would happen, and happen immediately.
Let's be clear, very, very clear. No projects, zero, will come to Ohio without a motion picture tax credit.
The tax credit has benefited the big blockbusters, yes, but also the small independent films. Cleveland filmmaker Johnny Wu, whose new martial arts film debuted this weekend, never saw a penny in tax credits, but he said he benefited through the experience he and thousands of others got over the last decade with the credits in place.
All this opportunity coming from Hollywood, they bring all the opportunity for all of us to have the chance to be there and helping out and learn some better skill. I used to be part of the studio, which is one of the largest green screen studios in Cleveland, Ohio, and we get hired once in a while for a Hollywood film to be shooting stuff. So we are all having an opportunity to be able to grow.
Anthony Russo hopes this year's funding fight opened eyes in Columbus to what Ohio has built and what it has the potential to be.
I think Cleveland is right on the verge. We have enough production here to really convert it into something more permanent, where we're starting to build facilities, support long-term film production. But again, the key to all that is a very aggressive and supportive tax incentive.
And while state lawmakers were able to come to an agreement on the motion picture tax credit, there's something on their desk right now that won't be as easy to come to an agreement on. And that's Governor Mike DeWine's packet of gun reforms proposed in the wake of the Dayton shooting. Most people have an opinion when it comes to gun reforms. Asked broadly, for example, whether or not they support stricter gun laws in Ohio, a Quinnipiac poll taken last month before the Dayton shooting found the results pretty evenly split. But when you get into specifics, like do you support background checks on all gun buyers, you see the margins widen, 90-10 in that case. So one of the key points presented by Governor Mike DeWine in his 17-point plan was the so-called red flag law that would allow a family member or a loved one who was concerned someone with a gun could pose a threat to themselves or others to ask the court to remove the guns after holding a court hearing. Well, a group of Ohio newspapers, including our partners at the Akron Beacon Journal, polled the entire state delegation, 99 members of the House and 33 in the Senate, and asked them just about this one issue. About 2/3 responded, with all but one Democrat saying that they would support the red flag proposal. The key, of course, will be the Republicans. They control both houses. Only 10 surveyed said they would support it, and some of them said more tweaks were necessary, while 40 were either unsure or wanted to know more specifics before weighing in. That's not a surprise, since many lawmakers have expressed concerns in the past over not just the Second Amendment, but the 5th and 14th and their due process protections. And the outlets also found that the Speaker of the House and Senate President were non-committal in their responses. Governor DeWine, for his part, said he's only proposing that which he believes has a shot at passing. This early survey an indication of the headwind he will face. Well, speaking of headwinds, Ohio farmers have been facing one since the trade war with China started now over a year ago. That wind now starting to pick up. They say it's beginning to take its toll. Distance-wise, these Portage County soybean fields are much closer to Washington than they are to Beijing, but the reality is these days they are smack dab in the middle.
We were a pawn in a pretty aggressive chess game that didn't turn out well.
3 years ago, a large percentage of these beans would have ended up in China, the largest importer of Ohio's largest crop. But this year, it's likely none will, as a result of the trade war with China that started last summer and has only gotten worse, with farmers now assuming the worst.
We knew in the spring it was going to be tough to wait, but now that fall's come and it's not there, I don't know that it's going to come back.
At the Sayre family farm, they've been able to supplement their farm income with a crop dusting business, which also puts them in contact with farmers from all corners of Ohio.
All across the state, the people I've been talking to can't afford to do it anymore. I mean, we're out of time. And I don't think the politicians understand that there is a time frame on this.
Senator Rob Portman tells me he does, and he's hopeful meetings later this month will yield the results he had hoped would come this spring.
I don't think this is in China's interest either. I don't think China benefits from a trade war, nor do we, ultimately. We've got to do it to get leverage, to get them to the table, to make the kind of tough decisions that they have not been willing to make.
Sayre also says while Washington may think they're helping with billions in subsidies, there's something they and the public should know.
A lot of family farms, a lot of small family farms don't qualify for the subsidies. So we don't get those. You know, you see it in the news that, the farmers are getting this, getting that. A lot of people don't get that. We're one of them. We don't qualify for the government assistance.
With Democracy 2019, I'm John Kosich. Enjoy your Sunday.